Welcome to the Seattle Parks and Recreation Careers and Hiring event. Feel free to chat it up. Program will begin at 11 a.m. Again, welcome to the Seattle Parks and Recreation Careers and Hiring event. Feel free to chat where you are calling in from. Let us know where you're from. Program will begin at 11 o'clock. We are streaming live to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Also, you can follow the link and join us here on Zoom. We have people joining us from Shoreline, Washington, Burien, Boston, Renton, and of course, Seattle. To see the available positions here, you can go to bit.ly/SPR-available jobs. Again, bit.ly/SPR-available jobs. All right, welcome everybody. So glad that you are here with us. Welcome to, again, the Seattle Parks and Recreation Careers Hiring event. Do us a favor, tell us what neighborhood you're calling in from today in wherever chat that you're at. Thank you so much for all of those who have already chatted with people as far away as Boston and, of course, here in our hometown of Seattle, Washington. I'm John Chen. I'll be your MC today. I'm broadcasting live from Shoreline, Washington. I'm a 55-year-old third-generation Asian male. I'm the grandson of a paper son with black hair, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. My favorite way to recreate used to be climbing mountains, as I have 3 summits on Mount Rainier, and now I recreate by driving my convertible around all the beautiful sunny days and neighborhoods in Seattle. By the way, this program is being interpreted today in Tagalog, Chinese, and American Sign Language. Let me bring up our interpreter today. Today, Tagalog is being interpreted by Annabelle Borromeo. Thank you so much, Annabelle. In addition to that, we have Chinese with Yen Chen. There we go. Hello, Yen. Thank you so much. Ni hao, hello to you. So, for those who want that feature, you can go to Interpretation down at the bottom of the screen, and you can choose Tagalog or Chinese. Even if you don't understand either of those language, please feel free to try it out, as you will hear how we can have interpreted languages and increase our diversity and inclusion here on these technical platforms. In addition, American Sign Language is being interpreted by our good friend Gordon Vernon from Puerto Rico. Today, you'll hear from current Parks and Recreation teammates that serve the Seattle community, and they have fun doing it. The Seattle Parks and Recreation, or SPR, is a national leader and innovator in how we serve our residents who enjoy our public spaces. In partnership with the Associated Recreation Council, our recreation family works passionately to provide the best programs, activities, and services across the city's community centers, teen life centers, swimming pools, and parks. We hope to inspire you to click the link bit.ly/SPR-available jobs and apply to join the team. There are literally hundreds of jobs, and we hope that one may be perfect for you. We also want to hear from you. So those who are joining us live, either here on Zoom or online, please feel free to chat a question at any time. And as your moderator, I'll do my best to get that question answered for you. I just want to make sure, too, you know that any views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by our amazing panelists are solely that of the panelists and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions and policies or position of the Seattle Parks and Recs. But of course, now let's welcome our first guest. She works at Dexter Park. She works at Dexter Park at the Dexter Parks and Rec building. She's the director of recreation. She has over 25 years with Parks and Rec. Let's welcome Daisy Cadigue.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Super excited to have the opportunity to really just amplify this amazing opportunity that we have here with Parks and Recreation, specifically in the Recreation Division. My name again is Daisy Cadigue. I'm currently the Director of Recreation. I use she, her pronouns. As stated before, I've been here for over 25 years. What I love to share about my journey is my entry point with Seattle Parks and Recreation started off as an intern. I came in as a summer youth employment intern, and from there, I've been just in this grateful space to really just naturally progress within my profession. So with that being said, I want to take some time to just give everyone on this call some background context about our division, but I want to start off with just some facts about our department in general. So Seattle Parks and Recreation manages over 6,000 acres of a park system, which includes over 400 parks. And within that, we've got intensive natural areas. This includes athletic fields, tennis courts, play areas, specialty gardens, and a plethora of other things. With that being said, specifically with the Recreation Division, we have over 25 community centers, which also includes 8 indoor swimming pools, 2 outdoor swimming pools, 3 environmental learning centers, 2 small craft centers, and 4 golf courses, an outdoor stadium, and much, much more. With that being said, I think at this point, what I'm going to do is prepare to hand it back off to John. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We'll learn more a little bit more as we move forward.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Well, I think we're going to head into our panel. Here, let me bring up our fireside. So we got our panel here today who is going to be doing a question and answer. We have some preset questions, and we already are getting... Make sure and keep that up. Thank you so much, Gordon. I saw that. Make sure and keep that up. Keep up the chatting of questions. We'll do our best to answer as many questions as we can during this time. All right, so
Mhm.
let's introduce our different people in the panel. Let me make sure I get my first one. Here we go, set. Okay, great. And panelists, of course, remember to unmute yourself as you come on. She works at the Delridge Community Center. She's got 1.5 years in Parks and Recs. She's an out of class assistant coordinator. Please welcome Hanan Gumale. Hi, Hanan. How are you?
Good, how are you guys? Hello, my name is Hanan Gumale. Pronouns she, hers. I am a Somali American and I work at Parks Recreation. I am the current out of class assistant coordinator at Durridge Community Center. I just got this position like 6 months ago, so I'm still learning. But what I like to do in my own time is I like to play video games and I like to read.
Outstanding. Thank you so much. All right, coming up next. He works at the Rainier Community Center. He's a recreational assistant coordinator that are like composers of the community center. And he's a DJ who DJ'd the last Parks and Rec event. He's got 25 years of experience. Please welcome George Yasutaki.
Good morning, everybody. My name is George Asataki. My pronouns are he, him, his, Japanese and black. Working here at Rainier Community Center, been in the Parks Department for 25 years. My favorite ways to recreate. I obviously DJing, I fish, I do bass tournaments, and cooking for my family. So welcome everybody.
Thank you so much, George. All right, coming up next. Works at the Magnuson Community Center. He's a recreational leader who's like the conductors of the Teen Life Centers and other programs. He's got 11 years with Parks and Rec. Let's give it up for the one and only Jordy Henderson.
Hey, good morning, everybody. My name is Jordy Henderson. Like I said, I've been with Parks and Rec for 11 years. I actually grew up in Parks and Rec. I was a child at going to these community centers, and now I'm working for it. My favorite way to recreate, all my pronouns are he, him. My favorite way to recreate is hang out with my friends and play basketball and video games. So it's great to have you guys here.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Jordy. All right, hailing from the Elliott Bay Office Park, she's a family resource educator that supports families in their communities. She just finished her 7th month with Parks and Rec. Let's give it up for Adriana Harrison.
Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Adriana, pronouns are she, her. I am Black, Filipino, Puerto Rican. Again, I am the family resource educator with ARC. I just started in January. My favorite way to recreate is taking photos, grilling at the park, and just going on a walk with my dog.
Aw, and what's your dog's name, Adriana?
His name's Mookie. He's a little Yorkie.
Mookie. Oh, what a name. All right. Thank you so much to all of you. Let's go through a collection of questions. Of course, we're going to use what we call the unpanel format. I'll run a 60-second clock, and so just make sure that your answers fit inside that 60-second clock so we can answer as many questions as possible today. This first question goes to the one and only Daisy. What advice do you have for job seekers looking for a career in Parks and Rec? Go ahead, Daisy.
Thank you, John, for that. I'm going to leave this group with 3 tips I highly suggest anyone who's seeking to really look into the profession of recreation. 1, spend some time to read and review our website. Take some time to really get an understanding of the breadth of lines of businesses and services that we offer, including our social media platforms. You'll get an idea based on pictures and the things that we do to engage the community. Going through the website along with our social media, you'll have an understanding of our mission, vision, so that you want to make sure that this is something that actually aligns with your aspiration in regards to the work that you want to do. Second, I highly suggest if you're about this work, go visit a community center, go visit a program, go visit a site. Be in this space to really take in, not only do you need to just internalize the work, but you need to physically understand all the different things that you are going to experience in a day. And then third, I always think it's a great opportunity for anyone to reach out to HR, set up a time so you can meet with another recreation staff profession and have some real time to just have some Q&A about what the body of work is. Those are my tips, John.
Great tips, Daisy. Thank you so much. All right, this next question goes out to Adriana. Where do you get support on your resume or cover letter when you needed it most?
When I was still in school, I needed assistance on my resume and cover letter. I actually went to the local library. They were holding a career event slash build your own resume kind of event. I was able to use or get access to the computers. They also printed out 5 resumes on the fancy resume paper, and then we were able to print unlimited copies on just the regular paper. So I definitely recommend going into the community centers and finding a local library if you're needing to update your resume or cover letters.
Thank you, Adriana. Again, propping out our Seattle Public Libraries, a computer for everybody, even if you don't have one, available at the Seattle Public Libraries. I have also have dispensed some resume advice. I was actually a 10-year recruiter at Microsoft, Adriana. My best tip is this: numbers, roles, and results, right? When you write your resume, what numbers did you create? Like how many people did you serve? What role did you have out of a project? And what results did you create? I think if you follow that format, that will help you out. This next question goes to Jordy. Jordy, what perks come with working at Parks and Rec?
I would say fun, community, and pride. Parks and Rec is a lot of fun to work for. I have fun every day at my job. There's never really a day that I don't look forward to coming to work, to be honest with you. The sense of community that you get here, working at any community center, you get to know all the patrons that come in, young and old, your coworkers. It really builds this sense of belonging and togetherness in any community that you end up being in, and also kind of spreads to other communities there as well. And with that, I think comes with pride in your work, and I'm passionate to that, pride and passion into your work and what you do, and being a rec lead, seeing kids grow, and being part of the programs and coming back to community centers. It all is very gratifying, and you get a lot of joy and excitement out of it.
I'm going to give you a little bonus time here, Jordy. What's the coolest or best thing you've ever done with Parks and Recs in your time?
Oh, that's a really good question. There are a lot of cool things I've done. To be honest, this pertains to the rec lead position. To be honest, it's all the downtime that I've had with participants in my program.
Aw.
Just the time we've got to know each other and talk. I know a lot of people in different communities that have opened up and just expressed themselves. They said they feel at home in community centers around us and all that. So I think that's my favorite part, is just getting to know everybody and how comfortable we feel with each other. So
Thank you so much, Jordy. Take pride in that answer, in developing a place that feels safe enough to feel like home. I'm going to take our first audience question. It might be towards Daisy, but maybe somebody else has the answer. Mirjana asked, is there an office type of job available for those who are entry level? I've got data tech experience, but it's really hard to find a job right now. Daisy, do you want to take a shot at this? You want to hand it off?
I could take a shot at it. I would say that there is a variety of roles that come within the recreation division. It comes from like all the way from frontline to all the way up to administration. So if you are interested in some level of like data collection, admin support, there are definitely roles that fall within that. Absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you, Daisy. Anybody else? Entry level jobs in Parks and Rec. Okay, good. All right, I'll move on to our next question. This is for everyone, so we're going to hit everyone, but feel free to unmute when you're ready. What neighborhood do you rep in Seattle, and why do you love it there? Let's show some pride for our city and our neighborhoods. Who'd like to go first? This is the part where I play Jeopardy music.
Okay, I'll go first. And then I will pass the mic off after that. I grew up in Southeast Seattle, particularly in the Rainier Beach area. What I loved about that space is the diversity. It's an area that just has a variety of different ethnic groups, community neighborhoods, and It's also one of our largest community centers within the citywide scope. Rainier Beach Community Center and Pool is one of the largest geographic space that we have. And I just love the fact that it offers a variety of different things. Again, just a pride in our city. Like I would say, someone who's born and raised from Seattle, each community itself holds its own essence and soul. And I think you will find that differently from like the central to the southeast to the north. And that's the great part about recreation. We have this opportunity to bring it all together. With that being said, I'm going to pass it off to George.
Thank you so much. And Daisy, did you hear that? You're getting a official flyover, I believe, by the Blue Angels right now. Congratulations, George. Let's head to George.
All right. Once again, George Asataki, born and raised in the Central District. 31st between Pine and Olive. That's the neighborhood I represent. That's the neighborhood that raised me. That's the values that I carry with me everywhere I go. And it helps me adapt to other neighborhoods and other communities because we were taught self-sufficient and being self-reliant, So that's the thing that I carry with me in all the communities I serve within the Parks Department.
Thank you, George. You want to hand it off to somebody? You got three to go.
Oh, let me hand it off to someone who hasn't spoke a lot. Let me go to Hanan.
There we go. Hi, Hanam.
Hello. For me, I think my neighborhood would be South Park. That's the neighborhood I grew up in. That's where I went to school, and it's home to me. There's a lot of food trucks, a lot of like nightlife, and so it just feels home to me. But yeah, I will pass it up to Adriana.
So I'm a Cali girl all the way around, but Seattle has been home for the last 4 years. And I just absolutely love it. I love all the trees. I love all the water spots. I love all the activities. It's just really great. The air is fresh. Angle Lake is in my backyard. I could just go walk to the park and grill. It's beautiful. I love it.
Oh, Adriana, what do you love to grill? I gotta hear what you got on the grill.
Oh man, I'm a steak girl. I love steak and I love party wings on the grill. It's great.
My recent one was a hanger steak from Bob's Butcher on Rainier.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we got to represent. See, did we get everyone, or was you got Jordy left, right?
All right, I pass it to Jordan.
There you go.
All right. I grew up in represent the Bitter Lake, Northgate, and Meadowbrook neighborhoods. Like I said, I kind of grew up in the Parks and Rec system, so I was at those community centers a lot. But I just travel around the city a lot. I've got a lot of friends in the North End, South End, West Seattle, all that stuff. So I just been growing up. I just was around Seattle everywhere. So I love all the neighborhoods, but I would say I have to represent those three because that's where I grew up the most. So
Outstanding. Love that you're a hometown, right? That you are from here. I'll take our next question from Joseph. I've gone back to school to finish my degree in urban and environmental planning. I come in pivoting from a career of the past 20 years as a sales director and a regional visual manager, but it's my passion to get involved in sustainable systems of city planning as well as integration, expansion of urban green space, biophilic design. Biophilic, that's my word of the day. Any recommendations for Joseph to get into something as in-depth as this? Open to anyone. Daisy?
I could do a response. Within Parks and Recreation, we also have another division called the Planning and Development. It's a space where we do a lot of design and planning, obviously with capital improvement, but there is a specific area that it's designated to focus on open space. Like I had mentioned at the beginning, we have a large acreage of open space that Parks and Recreation really is solely responsible for. And what I love about this department is we do what we need to do to protect that so that we could create access for community to connect with nature, going back to like our trails and trees and things of that nature. But there is always slightly some level of that type of work in every different division, particularly here within recreation. You know, we do a connection with like our environmental education learning centers. We do citywide programs around that space, and that's just one of the examples.
Genius, Daisy. Michelle Wong, of course, backing you up. Planning, development, and capital improvements is a separate division of SPL, but they work together with our recreational division to ensure our facilities are in tip-top shape to serve the public. George, did I see you had a comment, or did you not have a comment?
I was getting back to that entry level, and I put in the chat that our late night program is one of the ways that
Cool.
is entry level that we actually hire from the general public, get you in the community centers, get you working with usually teen populations, and because it's all over the city, you could be in all the the more diverse neighborhoods from Rainier Beach, Meadowbrook, uh, Garfield, and Rainier here, and Bitter Lake
Yeah.
and in the west at Southwest, so and High Point. So late night's one of our entry level. I had typed it in and then meant to get back to it. What you were moving fast, John. So
Gotta keep it rolling, George. Gotta keep it rolling.
yeah.
All right, outstanding. Speaking of keep it rolling, how did each of you decide on applying for a job with recreation? And of course, what's your why? Why Parks and Rec? Again, anyone can go. Just unmute and let me know who'd like to go first.
I applied for a job with recreation because I just love being involved with my community, and just enhancing the quality of life for all people. I'm a big contender for everybody winning.
Genius. Thanks, Adriana. Who else?
I could pick up on that. Applying for a job was a no-brainer for me. I went to work with my uncle. He was a coordinator in parks. Mike Yasutaki. My brother was a lifeguard. My great uncle was a superintendent, Walter Hunley. So being in
Wow.
the parks, I was around it all my life, and went to work with all of them, and was offered a job here at Rainier. So it was just something that felt natural to me, and I've been able to grow and expand on my recreation through the opportunities given in parks since I delivered better programming 25 years in. So, appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, George, I love that's in your family and in your blood. I was a lifeguard in my hometown, Stockton, California. I heard there's actually at least a year or two ago, there was a real shortage of lifeguards because of COVID. So there are lots and lots of opportunities here. All right, we have 3 to go. Who'd like to go next?
I'll go next.
Thanks, George.
So I decided to apply because one of my favorite people ever, Glenn Hubbard, he's working at Meadowbrook Teen Life Center, and I was a teen there, and he was telling me a lot of valuable lessons about life and all that. And I just watched him do the job, and I was like, this is a pretty cool thing to do. And I got a job at Northgate working with youth, and this was for a summer job. And so after that, I was like, this is from the values I learned from Glenn Hubbard, who was a great man, and then everything I learned working at Northgate, I was just like, this is something I'm passionate about. So that's why I decided to apply for the job.
Let's keep going. Justin Jacobs asked, as someone who is super passionate about youth development, how can someone get involved in the teen and youth department side of SPR? Jordy, do you mind continuing on?
Yeah, I mean, there are teen life centers. I work at Madison Community Center, which does not have a teen life center, but has a strong teen program. There are many community centers that have strong teen programs outside of teen life centers, but those are the TLCs. Teen life centers being TLCs, I'd say are great places to apply. They get a bunch of youth coming through. You got Garfield, I believe Rainier, and then Southwest, I think it's High Point and Meadowbrook Teen Life Center. But any of these places have youth programs you can join, teen programs you can join, and be a mentor, be a counselor, plan activities for the summer, school year, get further education going into the community centers, and really help the young teens out here develop and grow into the young adults that they're becoming.
Thank you, Jordy. I just finished working at a program in San Diego with 300 youth from around the world, 38 countries. And what I've seen right now, too, is that the youth coming out of this pandemic, all right, they're really hungry for a lot of things like the connections and the skills. So thank you for providing that at your Teen Life centers. Daisy or Hanan, who would like to go next?
I can go. I was gonna say I was working at a local elementary school, and then I heard that South Park was low staffed in their late night. So I applied, and I was able to get in, and so that's how I started my career. I think just being around the community and just hearing what they need, I think is the best way to get involved. But also, like, keep in mind that every community center has a different approach in the way they serve the community. Um, so just look around and see what best serves your skills and which community center you think would be a good fit for you.
Outstanding. Thank you, Hanan. And Daisy.
Yeah, I think just to add on to what was already shared, I think um, temp positions are always a great entry point to see if this is the best space for you to be at. I would also just say to continuously check our website for openings. We have a lot of potential space to expand services, particularly at our teen life centers and also within our teen and youth development work. We are also launching a Seattle Mentors Initiative later this month. And so there's going to be a variety of different opportunities to really stay engaged.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Daisy. I'm going to add Tam's question here. Tam asked, each community center is congruent to its surrounding community, but what ties all the community centers together within Seattle Parks and Recs and all of Seattle? Questions open for anyone.
I guess in my own experience, it would be like working with other assistant coordinators across the city. So if we have a programming that I would like to bring to Durridge, I would like to offer it like up north. So hey, are you interested in having the same teacher teach this program at your site? And that's how we kind of collaborate and make sure that we have like the same programming in multiple locations, so that a lot of community centers members have access to the same programming without needing to travel like really far. And so that's how I collaborate in my own position.
Thank you, Hanan. Anyone else want to add in? Daisy?
Yeah, I think another way that really is captured within our division is through citywide programs. We haven't mentioned yet, but we do things along the side of like lifelong learning, specialized programs, where these programs happen in our different communities, but it's intended to outreach and recruit citywide. Another thing I'm going to plug in as a perfect example, which is coming up, we've got Big Day of Play. Big Day of Play is one of our signature citywide events, right? It's coming up Saturday, August 19th, Rainier Playfield. And it's an opportunity where all of our community centers, actually everyone in our department comes together and we amplify healthy environment, thriving communities, and a space for us to move and get shaken and meet people. So perfect example.
Excellent. Thank you, Daisy.
Hey, John,
yeah.
John, excuse me. I just wanted clarification. Was that question relating to like the continuity we have amongst some community centers, even though we're in different communities? Like, what is our continuity? Was that kind of the question? Like, what binds us all together?
Yeah, exactly. What ties us or binds us all together.
Oh,
And again, Daisy is also giving some examples of like, when do all the community centers actually collab, right?
well, there's that, and then there's also just when you work in enough of them. I've worked in two out of the four teen life centers. I worked in every community center in Southeast Seattle, all the way to everything south of the shipping canal. I worked in every site, and what you find is that the public is what makes it. Every site you go to, you find your regulars, your people who show up every day for the same kinds of things. You tend to find those people at every site, and sometimes they're unique people. Like there's a gentleman at Radvec that comes every day, and he hangs out, but he's not dissimilar to a gentleman that hangs out around Garfield. You find that there's a pulse within the community that you'll find these same people as you move from site to site. You'll start to understand that it's like an algorithm almost. I don't know how better to explain it, but you jump into a site and you just learn the regulars and learn kind of the ebb and the flow. And you could put me at any site now, 25 years in, and within a couple of weeks I'll start to figure out, know all the names, know all the participants and what they're here for. That's just one thing is that. And then the staff, we've moved around a lot, and that's another level of the continuity, because where we go, we take what we've learned with us to those other sites. So that brings a level of continuity as well.
Thank you, George.
Am I able to piggyback off of that real quick?
No, just kidding, George. Go.
A perfect example of that, I think, was just yesterday. I was asked to fill in at Green Lake Community Center, and I went over there, and there were a bunch of teens that live in Magnuson Park that were over there hooping outside. And so I went out and just to see what was going on in the community, and I knew like 50% of the people that are out there. So, like George said, as you move as a staff, as you move from community center to community center, you get to know the people. You'll see that the community just kind of moves with you in a weird way. They'll pop up at these community centers, and you know them, and you get to know them. And it's a pretty cool thing. Another thing we used to do is a cooking competition, which would bring community centers to other community centers, and we'd have a competition. And Magnuson took first place twice, which is pretty cool. But stuff like that, where community centers and the people in the community that go to the community centers can meet each other and get to know each other and compete in a friendly competition.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jordy. That competition sometimes how you build relationships as well as fun value. Adriana, anything else you want to add, or are you good? She's good. Okay, good. Let's see. Let's head on to this next one. This is a good one. Okay, in a few sentences, what do you actually do in recreation? What does your typical day look like? And my add-on for this is, what's the coolest or most unusual thing that you've done in Parks and Rec? Open for anybody. Who'd like to go? The last one you're going to have to think about.
Oh,
George has got the most. You got 25.
I don't want to jump in first, but I don't like the silence. I'm a DJ. Silence kills. So, I mean, right now we're Rainier is just reopening, so we're just kind of reintroducing ourselves back to the public. But and I just stepped into the assistant coordinator role since May. But typically, as a day for me, the morning you kind of get your administrative stuff out, and as a rec leader in the summer, I'm never indoors. I was always outside leading fishing camps or DJ camps, sometimes both in the day. I would drive from Green Lake to Denny to do a DJ class at Denny Middle School and do a fishing camp at Green Lake from 9 to 1. I try to stay busy. I started coming with the mindset of going to where the kids are for the program, not expecting everyone to just show up at my site. And then probably the most unusual thing I've done in parks is being a guy that fishes. I was tasked with hey, can you take some teams over to Pritchard Pond and get the bullfrogs out? I'm like, how do I do that? Okay, well, we'll figure it out. So I got about 10 teams, and we went to Pritchard Pond, and the pond was full of bullfrogs, and that's the Blue Angels. And we got about 20 to 25 bullfrogs out, and that didn't even put a dent in the amount of bullfrogs that were in the pond. But someone emailed me and said, "Hey, you're a fishing guy. Can you get the bullfrogs out of the pond, Month?" Sure. Okay, we'll figure it out. So that's probably the most unusual thing I've been asked to do in Parks Department is get rid of the bullfrogs at Pritchard Pond.
Oh my gosh, George. Well, my grandfather was a head researcher at Eli Lilly and once had to ask for 25,000 poisonous frogs from China to try and figure out if there was a medicine inside of there. So consider yourself lucky that you were not having to get 25,000. Who else would like to go next?
I'll go next. So I work as a family resource educator. I work with our licensed preschoolers in some of our community centers. A typical day for me is just answering emails. Sometimes I'm having to assist parents with certain things, such as if they need to go grocery shopping or getting clothes or putting on events. I recently started my own farmers market where I provided fresh food or fruits and vegetables to our families along with non-perishable items. Just because it was something, I put a survey out to parents and they replied back to the survey, and a lot of them requested like non-perishable things that they can keep in their cabinets. So I love it. I love assisting parents. I love helping. Yeah, that's what my typical day looks like.
Thank you, Adriana. Love the farmers market. Ballard and Shoreline are currently my favorites. Again, remember, you can go to bit.ly/SPR-available jobs to see all the different types of positions that are available. We got 3 to go. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next.
Thanks, sir.
Typical day for me as a rec leader is kind of split between the school year and the summer. In the school year, my typical day is connecting with local schools to talk about how we can help support students that come to the community center outside of their schoolwork, what kind of tutoring they feel the students may need, and trying to provide that tutoring in the community centers, as well as when they're not tutoring, just engaging with them, playing video games, basketball, and then just answering regular emails. And in the summer, it switches. I run a summer camp, and so like I'll be taking people hiking or sailing or doing cooking classes, which also runs during the school year. But yeah, it's much more active and outdoors during the summer than it is during the school year.
Excellent. Thanks, Jordy. And when is Parks and Rec going to host their first esports tournament?
I don't know. We should definitely work on that, though.
There you go. I gave you that idea. That's a good one. Daisy or Han?
Yeah, I can go. For me, I think every day for me is different. As the assistant coordinator at Durridge, a lot of my my days actually checking emails, responding, and making phone calls. But I have a to-do list. I feel like if I don't have a to-do list, then I would have to do some extra time at home to catch up. But it's a really strange position where you're still front facing, but also you're on the background doing a lot of programming. But I think that's what makes it fun. Like you have your little computer sessions, like an hour or two, and then you're out in the community helping people find the right programming that they are interested in, going out to community, making partnerships, and bringing programming to the centers. So it's a multifaceted position that never gets boring. But I haven't had anything out of the normal as of yet. I'm pretty new, just a year and a half. So I haven't seen anything strange yet, but
Well,
I'm having fun, I would say.
stick around George and he will make you get bullfrogs. How about you, Daisy?
Oh, my day just consists of a lot of meetings, virtual meetings, sometimes in-person meetings, but doing my best that I can to support managers to just get the work going and moving along. A lot of hiring processes, which is why we are here today. So hoping to fill some of these vacancies to really just carry our long-term vision and executing that. I think as of recently, I don't think it was unusual, but it was uncharacter of a normal day for me is I actually had to drive a van full of youth at work interns around to different community centers. And I love doing that. It was nice to do something out of my norm. But I think what you're hearing is you're in a group of staff that will do what they need to do to just keep the work going. And so just again, kind of elevating the fact that there's that morale that we also have in this division.
Daisy, I want to add on to that. You know, I know that jobs have really been in the press a lot or have been in the news. You know, many industries are having trouble finding the right people. So can you just let us know, where is Parks and Rec today? Are you have a lot of openings? Are you finding it challenging? Or are you finding a good flow of people yet?
Yeah, I think at this point we have like over 60 vacancies. And on top of that, we have a lot of potential opportunities to engage come the new year. We have a park district that is being executed this year, which comes with more funding to support new programs and services, which also means it's coming with new positions. I think just like everyone else coming out of the pandemic, there is still a lot of vacancies just in general that people are having to fill. And there's more opportunities for people to apply for. So there's those types of variables that you're just struggling with. I think we're also in a space where you have a group of people that are still not comfortable doing public facing work. So it's very hard to find people that are okay to do the engaging of the in-person, but also it's an opportunity to reinvest into our workforce, which is why I feel like we are really focusing a lot with like young people, teens, and summer internships to really have that entry point into recreation, having the variety of different positions, such like the rec attendant and rec leaders, so they have that understanding of what the lines of businesses are, and then can be in positions that are actually leading the work, because we want to be able to create a legacy to where we
Right.
have people that care about the community and want to keep this work going.
Rebecca also asked, how quickly are you looking to fill those vacancies? Do you have a time frame-ish type of thing? Now, yesterday, the day before?
Yeah, like a year ago. I think a lot of it too is just dictating how quickly our hiring processes can move along. Like, I think typically it can take quite some time, because we screen resumes, we do interviews, all those sorts of things, which is why we're at a space where it's probably going to be a continuous thing, which is why I'm going to encourage people, just keep looking, because you'll find that new positions are posted as we move through the process. And it's an opportunity internally for people to have promotions, right? People who've been here for quite some time, like you hear from this panel, we have people that have been here for over 20 years. There's a reason why people are still here. And so being able to reinforce that natural progression is also important.
I'll start the campaign. Give George a raise. No, just kidding. I'm going to take a bunch of, thank you so much for our audience here. We have some great questions here. Christy asked 2 questions about the temporary community center leader positions. Can you share examples of the 1-year experience in a community-based recreation program requirement? And does temporary mean flexible hours and an end date? Anybody can take that. Except for me, because I don't know the answer.
I can
Thank you,
I
Jared.
can kind of talk about the temporary, what temporary means. So like at Magnuson, for example, we're looking for a temp rec lead, and that's 20 hours guaranteed, but potential to have more. It can be fairly flexible. I guess that depends on the site, though. Like at Magnuson, for example, we're looking for somebody that could work 4 to 8, 5 days a week. This during the weekdays. But in turn, is this like just for rec lead or just for anybody looking for a temp position? I'm not sure if that's like just for rec leaders or if that's just for anybody looking for a temp position.
Daisy, do you want to chime in on that?
I'm assuming the question is probably just more related to what the difference is between a regular versus a temp.
Okay.
I think we're referring and interchanging the two, but there's there's a variety of different ways you could enter into the department. What you'll find in the website is it'll tell you specifically if it's a regular position versus a temporary position. And some of the slight differences is really whether or not it's a benefited position or not, or if it's short-term or long-term. So duration may be one of the variables to consider. Benefits is also another space. Some temp positions can also be utilized as a floater. When I think about how it is utilized for the recreation division, if you apply for a recreation temp position, that may also mean like a rec leader position. You could be placed at a variety of different community centers and working at will. So there's just a slight variance of different ways of how the two are really onboarded as employment. I seen one other question here in the chat about specific positions that are like tamed to like talent. I think somebody has said they had a passion around 3D and design art. Another thing I want to just share is through our partnership through ARC, Associated Recreation Council, we do hire instructors to offer programs within our community centers. And so that's another path that you could do if you have a specialized skill set that you really want to amplify in the community.
Thanks, Stacey. Is that like a contractor position or is it like a part-time, something like that?
It could be either or.
Okay.
So depending on whether or not they want to just do something short term or if ARC is actually hiring for an ongoing instructor position.
Perfect. That was a question from Rebecca. This one comes from Delaney. What types of continuing education or lifelong learning opportunities does the Seattle Parks and Rec department provide for employees across roles? By the way, she says, thank you for hosting this. What a wonderful panel. So thank you all panelists for being here. Lifelong learning. Should be one of you too, especially the 25-year people in the house.
So our lifelong recreation program services obviously an older population group. It's a citywide program, so you will see a variety of different programs that we offer within our community centers. I think the best way to kind of capture all those different things that we offer is if you go to the website, you'll see our brochures that will list all the different programs. They're actually also designated by different lines of businesses. So you'll find something specifically to lifelong, to specialized programs, but kind of similar to like our adult and sports programs and youth programs, you'll see a variety of lifelong recreation programs related to like drop-in table tennis, arts and crafts, and just again, similar to how we do the citywide approach, you'll see it throughout our different facilities.
Outstanding.
If I'm answering the question, yeah.
Olivia asked you, this is going to go to Adriana. She says, do you have a blog or something that documented your process of creating a farmer's market?
No, I don't have a blog. I'm sorry.
I think she's suggesting maybe you should get one. Florence has a great question. Again, this is for all. What does the hiring process look like? I think this is a great question, by the way, Florence. So thank you for that. Anyone want to share their like a little bit of their journey? I interviewed at Microsoft. Let me tell you, that interview process is like one of the most unique interview process. So we'd love some little insight into Seattle Parks and Rec hiring process.
I can share my experience since I'm pretty new.
Thanks, Anand.
Yeah, of course. So there is an interview with a panel of folks that do review your resume and cover letter if you did make one. I think my own experience is with the rec leader interview process which was submitting a resume and then having an interview with a panel. But it could look different for any position you apply with the city. There are some positions where you would have to do an interview and then take a skill test. So it really depends on what position that you're applying to, but usually it's a resume, cover letter, an interview with a committee, and then maybe a skill test.
Excellent. Thank you, Hanan. Any else want to add on to the hiring process? Okay, that's good because we're getting close to our final question. By the way, for all of you, if you've been enjoying this panel, do us a favor, hit the chat, like just say thank you, kudos, something like that. If you've been enjoying this panel, these people are taking time out of their day to really help you. The final question for today, and everyone gets to answer this, but Daisy, you're going to go last. What was the best interview advice that someone gave you? What was the best interview advice that someone gave you? Mine, I'll give you my quick one. If you have no idea what they're asking about, just keep asking questions through the rest of the interview until you figure out what's going on. That helped me get into Microsoft. Okay, who else would like to go here?
My best interview advice that I received was to always be yourself. Always show up as your best self.
Aw, thank you, Adriana. Authenticity trumps perfection every single day. Thank you, Adriana, for being on this panel.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, who'd like to go next?
I'll go. I would say tell a story. Your experiences does tell a lot about who you are, but being able to tell a story really does help kind of showcase what you did do and what you did accomplish. And also it's easier to tell a story than just give out numbers.
Thank you, Hanan. Yeah, tell stories, and if you don't have good stories, work on one before your interview. Usually they're going to ask you an easy question like, what's the best thing you've ever worked on? And hopefully you have a story about it. Thank you, Hanan. Who'd like to go next?
I want to piggyback on what Hanan said because I had a manager, Tiffany Johnson, tell me that being part of the interview panel, she was saying I asked questions for stories because she found that people answer the questions in the stories. they may not answer the question directly. So it made me think about that on the other side of the table, have my stories ready because I may answer the question if I couldn't think of the direct answer in the question, something like, do you ever work with the budget or et cetera, et cetera. And then you find that people have all those answers in the stories when you tell them, give me a meaningful memory from parks, working in parks or something. So along with Hanan, so that was one of the most valuable things I learned because I learned to craft the interview questions with that in mind to give people opportunity to share those experiences because they answer a lot of the interview questions and then it takes a lot of the nerves away too.
Yeah, thank you so much, George. And of course, George is a DJ. One of the other interview skills is improv, right? Is learn how to deal with what you get. George is an expert in that. George, thank you so much for joining us here. That would leave you, Jordy.
Oh man, everybody kind of said what I was gonna say. Yeah, I guess if I were to add anything on there, just express why you want to do the job, and be open and honest about it. One of the last things I did in my interview was just explain my passion for working with youth and building community. And I think that uh, made an impression with the interview panel about just hearing about exactly why I wanted to do the job.
Outstanding, Jordy. You know, I just kind of met you, but I get that like connection is one of your highest values, Jordy. Right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I love that it brings a smile to your face. And this is the job where you really get to connect with the people of Seattle. Jordy, thank you so much for being on the panel.
Thank you.
And of course, Daisy.
I would say two best advice I got around interviews. One, before the interview, practice saying your answers out loud in front of a mirror, just so you could just get into a space, because a lot of people can keep that response in their mind, but when it's time to articulate it, like just be in a space where you're comfortable practicing and saying it out loud. And then the second advice is take the opportunity at the end. If they ask for any questions, ask a question. And ask a few, because I think at that point it gives the panel an idea of just how your critical thinking goes about and just really also your interest in the position.
Daisy, thank you so much. And of course, you get the opportunity here to close this program. I'm going to give the stage to you. And of course, just hand it back to me for a few closing words. Thanks again, Daisy. And again, one more time, hit the chat. Thank you for everyone who did chat for this amazing panel. Back to you, Daisy.
Yeah, I guess what I want to close out is the final question I was received is, why do you think recreation is important to our community? And I think there's several items, but I'm going to just state by saying the few. Recreation, we are here to serve the community and the public. We're here to inspire, ignite fun. We're here to recreate. We're here to bring the community together. We're also a respite to the community. What we found coming out of the pandemic was our services were needed. We're here to bring families and neighborhoods together. We also center our work with inclusion, equity, and engagement. And we do our best to provide access to cultural relative programs and services. And so I think just keeping that in mind as you're finding your profession interests here with recreation, that we do a variety of different types of services, from like aquatics to outdoor activation, mobile recreation, to lifelong specialized, to teen and youth programs. We just do a variety of things. And we're here really to inspire human beings to reach their fullest potential. And with that being said, you have heard from the panel, we have people here that have been here for over 20 years. We have people who are actually in this call that are part of our leadership team and our rec division staff that genuinely care about the community and will do what we need to do to provide the services. And so I encourage anyone, if you know that you are here to be a public servant, that this is the best position for you to apply for. And we are also here to support and reinvest back into the community. And so with that being said, John, I give it back to you.
Excellent. Thank you all. Again, one more time, thank you to the panel. Thank you to our Tagalog and our Chinese interpreter. And of course, thank you to Gordon, our ASL interpreter, and the entire team. Many people spent many hours to bring this program to you. By the way, if you are here with us in the live audience, feel free to hang out for a few minutes afterwards and you can ask a few more questions. But for those of us on the live stream, we want to say thank you and farewell. Make sure and click the link bit.ly/SPR-available jobs. Thanks, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this program.